I can forgive the beginning of this year for the crap that they gave us that they call movies, because now the summer season has finally kicked off with Iron Man 3. Let's talk about that. Iron Man 3. Okay, Iron Man 3, you obviously know it follows Tony Stark. And this takes place after the Avengers. So Tony Stark has been having these like bad dreams of New York, and he can't really get over it because after you saved the world and almost died because you flew into outer space, you're gonna have some PTSD going on. Basically, that's affecting everyone around him. And on top of that, there's a new evil showing his face, the Mandarin. This is where people are starting to complain. The Mandarin, not spoiling anything, is not exactly what we expected. This is the part of the movie that kind of like the bad part of the movie, even though I enjoyed the movie. This is the one thing that completely pissed everyone off. Not me, but a lot of people. You can either be like here, you're like, done, or you can be like, okay, I'll roll with that. I was one, I rolled with it, and the movie turned out to be really enjoyable. Because this movie, I know I like having like Batman comparisons, but it was a lot like The Dark Knight Rises, because in The Dark Knight Rises, it didn't focus on Batman, it focused more on Bruce Wayne. Like, this one doesn't focus on him as Iron Man, it focuses more on him as Tony Stark. And I really liked seeing that, because in the first two, you didn't really get to, I mean, you got to know Tony Stark, but you didn't get to know Tony Stark. Like, this one, he completely shows his true colors. In this one, it is also darker than the first two Iron Man movies, but it is also funnier than the first two Iron Man movies, and it is also more comic booky than the first two Iron Man movies. Which, I mean, I liked this because, like, the first Iron Man movie I loved. That was my favorite one out of the three, but it wasn't comic booky. It was very just, it was just a movie about a guy getting kidnapped and made a suit. It was a great movie. Second one, and then there was the third one, and this one was really funny, really dark, and really comic booky, but it didn't cross the line into being too dark, or too funny, or too comic booky. It stayed right there, and that is awesome. And I know I said that this is more on Tony Stark than Iron Man, but I'm not saying that Iron Man isn't in this movie. I mean, the last 30 minutes of this movie, there's just, I mean, there are plenty of them. Like, there's all the different suits flying around and everything. And Tony Stark, when he dons the Iron Man suit, it's just like, you know, it's very Iron Man-y. Yes, that's a word. Iron Man-y is a word. But it gets really cool, and the action is awesome. And it's like, there are a bunch of different characters in the movie, but all of them are likable. There is a kid in the movie that didn't completely get on my nerves. Well, he did. That was his job, but he did his job well, kind of like the little girl in Wreck-It Ralph. In the end of Iron Man 3, I did have a good time. I had a little bit of disappointment with the Mandarin, but it was very fun, and I enjoyed seeing Tony Stark's character more. And I'm gonna say that Iron Man 3 is worth buying on Blu-ray. Yeah, this movie almost pulled an awesome-tacular for me, but the thing it did wasn't completely likable, but it was still cool in a sense. But okay, let me ask you a question. What is your favorite third superhero movie? Mine is probably The Dark Knight Rises. That's just me. Okay. Comment below and let me know. And as always, if you like what you've seen here and you want to see more, click right here to see more.